the rumors true? Did YouTube just become pay to play? And does it mean it's time to quit? Chances are, if you're tuning into this video, you belong to one of two groups. Either A, you're one of my regular viewers and you're wondering, are you quitting YouTube? Or B, you are a YouTuber yourself and you have questions about the rumor that YouTube's becoming pay to play. Hopefully by the end of this video, I'll have some of your questions answered on this very topic. And all of you who have questions, if I haven't answered them by the end of this video, drop them down below and I'll make every attempt to address them. Hey sightseers, Sightseeing Sally here. For those of you who are new and don't already know me, yes, my name really is Sally, and normally I'd be out sightseeing, having some grand adventure, checking out a small town, or maybe even cheating death, plunging into the icy cold waters of Lake Michigan on a 12-degree day. Regardless though of my regular role here on YouTube, I thought I'd sit down and make this video because there have been some things going on in YouTube space that have directly impacted our channel's ability to get out and film, not to mention these changes that have been occurring also are paving the way for the future of YouTube and are going to directly impact all you other channels out there. And the best way for me to be able to explain this to y'all will be to take you directly into our YouTube studio, showing you our analytics and the options that you have for your videos. And what do I mean by when I say options? Well, I'll get to that here in a moment. First, I want to show you what's been going on in our analytics. As you can see, I have the time period up, January 1st through December 31st of 2022. And in that time period, we had 1.1 million views, which was 56% more than the previous year, along with 13.4 million impressions, which led to the 1.1 million views, which equated to a click-through rate of 5.4%, with an average view duration of 4 minutes and 43 seconds. What does that mean? Well, essentially it means that YouTube gave us the opportunity to have our videos viewed 13.4 million times, and out of that we got 1.1 million views, which equates to then the click-through rate of 5.4%, which, if I'm understanding things correctly by following, the YouTube gurus, 5.4% click-through rate for your channel is actually pretty good. And then they tell you that the average view duration was across the board out of 1.1 million views was 4 minutes and 43 seconds. Outstanding, right? Wrong! And I'll get into why that is here in a moment, because first I want to explain a few things to you about how our channel has done in the past and what last year's end of the year growth meant for us. You see, in the past, our channel really hadn't done that well. What the growth that we saw last year, because if you look again at the graph, you can see that growth pretty much exploded there in the last few months of the year. And basically what happened, we had a video that we did on a local town called Wabeno. We called it a forgotten logging town here in Wisconsin. And that video did outstanding for this local area. The people there were just thrilled that we had come down and videoed their town. They told their neighbors, they told their friends, it got shared bunches of times on Facebook, because when I drilled down into the analytics on that video, the main driver of that video's growth started with Facebook. I had posted the video, the link to my Facebook page there, and it just went like wildfire. But that was only the start. From there, it seemed we were on this upward trend. And shortly after we left for a 5-6 month venture across the country where we went and visited forgotten towns, small towns, talked about history, forgotten history, and the channel was basically exploding at that point. But don't take my word for it. Let's look at the analytics. Now I've adjusted the dates so you could get a feel for when we started to see that explosive growth. So I set it out to September 1st of 2022, which was pre-growth, and then I carried it out to the end of January of 23. Let's hit apply, and here we go. You can see prior to the publishing of that video, we were pretty flatlined. We had, averaged anywhere between like 800 to 1,000 views per day. We'd have the occasional 1,200, 1,400 views, but nothing to write home about. Then we publish that video, and then things start picking up, and then they're going up, and they're, coming down a little bit. But look at this. Here at the end of December, we had a day where it was 42,000 views just in that one day. Pretty phenomenal. I know. Dry, boring stuff. But I got one more thing I want to show you in this section of the analytics, and then I'll get to my point. If you look here, you'll note that I've adjusted the date once again. This is to show you our stats from 2023. You can see over here in January, things were, up and down a bit, but we weren't too worried about that. We thought, we'll just ride it out. Things will pick back up. But then look at here in February. You can see the downward trend, and it went down and down and down. And it's been down ever since. Down so much that we're even contemplating not going anywhere this winter, and even possibly hanging it up here on YouTube. Now, before all my regular viewers flake out on me, there's something important about this graph I want to show you. So yeah, we're going to go back into YouTube Studio because this is really important. It really highlights what's been going on. If you look here, you can see that we've had 1.1 million views to date, which happens to be 14% more than the previous 6-month time period from June 10th to December 31st of 2022. Yet, our impressions are down 10% less than the previous 6 months. And despite that, we've managed to keep a reasonable click-through rate of 5.3%. So that's just down a tiny bit. But remember, our impressions are down. And then, incredibly, our average view duration has improved to 5 minutes and 13 seconds. Not only that, if you look at July, you'll see our click-through rate is at 5.8%, and our average view duration has moved up to 5 minutes and 57 seconds. So what's going on? The answer, coincidentally, lies in YouTube Studio, but not in the analytics section. It actually is in the section where your videos reside. Right here, under the tab called Promotions. Here, let me click on that for you. See? Grow your channel's popularity and engagement by promoting your videos on YouTube. Yep. YouTube wants me and other creators like me to pay to play on their platform. Them dirty crooks! I really didn't want to say the word that really came to mind because, I don't want to swear like that here on YouTube. But come on, YouTube! Treat your creators better. Don't make us pay to have our videos promoted on your platform. And the funny thing is, back in February when I started to notice that downward slide of the channel, I came across a video from a woman a much larger YouTuber who had already seen that promotion tab on her channel, and she basically called it that YouTube's going to become a pay-to-play platform. Ironically, about the same time, YouTube put out a survey to its creators. Now, I don't know if it was to a select few or if it was to all creators. It was a survey wanting to know about your experience here on YouTube, how much money you were making, you know, how you viewed the platform. And of course, because we were up, you know, still kind of up on that high from the explosive growth on our channel, I filled it out in a positive manner. Had I known better, I wouldn't have. Because here's the thing, YouTube has admitted in the past to running experiments on channels. Now, it could be coincidence that all of a sudden our channel just went with their impressions, or it could be that YouTube's running this huge mental social experiment on some of us creators. But either way, given the fact that they're now in this beta testing of this promotions tab and it's now being introduced to more creators, that leads me to believe that they are moving in the direction of making us pay to be on their platform. Now, I don't know about you creators. I just know for myself, there is no way in hell I'm paying to have my videos promoted here on YouTube. For one, back, 6.5 years ago when I uploaded my first videos to the platform, at that time you could do advertising to try and get your videos or your channel advertised to others to try and grow it. I was a sucker. I paid and I did it. And guess what? It didn't do diddly squat for my channel. In fact, it was such a disaster that I was like, why the heck did I get suckered into this? This whole promotions thing is basically the same thing. And in my opinion, it reeks of YouTube trying to get away with not fairly compensating their creators. Here, let's talk about this for a second. Now, I hate to bring this up. Normally, I don't like to get into the financials other than to thank our viewers whenever they join us here on Patreon or if somebody tips our tip jar. Speaking of, as it just so happens, I have a couple of quick shout outs to give. First of all, welcome and thank you goes out to Mike P for becoming our latest patron here on Patreon. And then, last but not least, special thanks goes out to Al from Florida for generously tipping our trip jar. I don't know sometimes if I can truly convey how thankful we are, but thank you. It really means a lot to us that you believe in us as much as you do. But I think it's important, and please don't take this as a form of e-begging, because honestly, I really don't want you guys paying my way. I want YouTube to pay my freight. As much as I'm thankful for all your support, however, it doesn't change one thing, and that is YouTube's changing the game on us and making it more difficult for channels, especially smaller channels like us, to be seen by others. Because if they're forcing us to pay to be promoted, that eliminates those who don't have the means, the financial means, to do so. And if they're changing their algorithm to reduce the amount of people you're seen by because you're not ponying up, that again affects us, because the less we're seen, the less our videos get out there, the less we grow, the less money we make through ad revenue, which then impacts our ability to get out and film and ultimately hurts all of you. This month, after all our expenses have been subtracted off my payment from YouTube that goes into my bank account, I'll be lucky if I have $100 in my pocket from that. Yep, it has gotten so bad with the downward slide that we were on that we haven't even been able to go very far from home because we're trying to save. We're trying to save every little bit so that we can still be able to put out content for you. And I know I'm not the only creator out there that's having this issue with YouTube. I've watched multiple videos of other creators out there who've talked about YouTube, paying them less or showing their videos less to people. And it's just like, after all the blood, sweat, and tears that their creators put into making their platform for what it is, they do this. It's like a slap in the face. Seriously, why should we have to pay to be able to have our videos get promoted by YouTube? Isn't that what the algorithm is for? From what I've been observing, it appears that YouTube is also trying to push the financial burden more on viewers by saying channels can, open up a spread shop, which is, merch, selling merch, or offering memberships, which costs you, or you can, do your super thanks or super stickers or whatever other flavor of the day thing YouTube has come up with. But in all reality, that's just forcing you, our viewers, to pony up. And in reality, I don't think that's right. I think YouTube needs to do better by their creators. Of course, there's going to be some of you out there, some of you YouTube gurus, experts, who are going to try and put the positive spin on this and try and tell me about how good this is going to be for my channel. But really, after me being on this platform for 6.5 years, I think I have a fairly good grasp on what's good for my channel. And I'm telling you, it isn't going to be paying YouTube to promote my videos. Simply from the fact that only those with a lot of ching are going to be the ones who succeed on this platform. And me, being just small potatoes here with 28,000 subscribers and being a one-woman show basically, with the exception of Marty, who does do things like drive and, appear in videos, occasionally. Everything else is done by me because I don't have the financial means to employ a staff, nor do I have the financial means to be paying YouTube to promote my content. The thing is when I came onto the platform, I was under the impression that YouTube was going to pay me to put out content, not me pay them to put my content out there. I get that YouTube is part of a large corporation whose main interest, whose only interest, I should say, is making money for their shareholders. But does that mean we as creators have to stand for it? I think not. As for a viable solution, I've been racking my brain for weeks, months even, as I've watched our channel go from exploding to... And aside from taking a gamble, picking up stakes, and moving on to another platform to see if you can become viable over there, the only thing that I've thought of so far is that if creators, large and small, join together and stand up to YouTube and say, we're not going to pay to have our videos promoted on your platform, perhaps then YouTube's higher-ups will get a clue and realize the nonsense that they're creating. Then again, maybe they won't. Maybe they already have a vision for the future, one that involves controlling who and what gets put on their platform. So get ready, folks. All the big corporate media companies, the ones that already control what we watch on regular TV, they're going to be the ones controlling what you watch here on YouTube. Don't say I didn't warn you. As for whether or not quitting is an option, I'd like to share this quote. When the music changes, so must your dance.